And the Ugandans and the Kenyans working in concert, it seems. Central banks today taking very hawkish positions and raising interest rates aggressively. In Uganda, it's 300 basis points. Is it effective?
Yes, we can say it's been effective. Last month, we saw some positives in the increase of the central bank rate, which was raised by 400 basis points to 20%, in that it helped attract foreign capital inflows to government paper that saw the exchange rate rise by about 11%.
All right. Now, interest rates are currently at 23%, certainly the benchmark rate. And inflation has also risen sharply in October. It's coming in at 30%. So you still have a discrepancy there. Is there room for another rate hike?
Yeah, we think there's still another rate because the target of Bank of Uganda is to see inflation come down to levels of about 5%. That is for core inflation. So before that happens, I think we are going to see the basis rate continue going up.
What's driving up inflation, Robert? For the longest time, Uganda's really suffered with food inflation, but apparently this time it's not so much the food component.
Yeah, it has not been the food component rising the inflation for October. We saw mainly the non-food items like clothing and shoes be responsible for the rise in inflation this time. So I think it's a positive for the central bank to see that the main driver of the inflation over the last 12 months or so has not been the case this time round.
So if food is no longer a major impact on inflation, can we expect to see inflation steadily coming down, certainly in the first quarter of next year?
Not exactly the first quarter of next year, probably second quarter, maybe probably towards the end of the year. I think first quarter is a little bit too early for us to tell whether the inflation will actually come down.
Well, the good news for anybody who's looking to invest in Ugandan securities, for instance, is that if we're seeing interest rates rising and at least efforts being taken to mitigate against inflation, it makes government securities attractive. Yes. Have we seen capital inflows into Uganda?
Yes, we've seen capital inflows, especially in government securities, something that has majorly had an impact on the capital markets. So yes, the capital inflows have been there, which has actually seen the strengthening of the exchange rate against the US dollar by, say, about 11%.
All right, so a stronger currency should ultimately help curb inflation because you are a net importer in Uganda. Is that starting to help?
I think it's a little early to say if at all the current appreciation of the shilling against the dollar will help out in terms of lowering the price of the imports. I think we shall have to see that happen probably in the next 2-3 months.
And then in general, the state of the economy, because lending rates to the business sector have improved by about 47%. So the banks are starting to loosen their purse strings. But does that mean the economy is growing? Does that mean jobs are being created?
No, according to statistics from the IMF and the World and the African Development Bank, they projected the growth rates for Uganda to have come down to, say, about 5 to 6%. We do think that growth will not happen this time as a result of the fact that banks are, the target of Bank of Uganda is to limit how much credit is going to the private sector, and I think as far as that is concerned, they are going to try and continue to see that that is reduced further.
And then just give us a sense of the state of the Ugandan economy. Everybody's been waiting with bated breath for oil to come on stream, and each year that project is being delayed. We're looking to 2012, third quarter possibly for production and then exponential growth. Is that an overly bullish sentiment?
I think it is. I think it is because by the look of things, I do not think that even 2012 we shall be able to mine the oil here. The government seems to think that that is something that will kind of help us sort out current economic problems that we're having today. In my opinion, I think it's a little too early to say that 2012 is the year that we shall start mining.